put in a school setting, I mean, you need to have a clearance as well as a training as well. You need to undergo a certification program as well, where they actually evaluate you and see you fit. If you're deemed fit, then you can step in, or else not. So even the very patting, even the very, gesture of hugging a kid, when he's in a dire situation, again, depends on the context, which country you are in. So even the very staring that we do is an abuse. So it depends on the context, again. So yeah, so that is one of the things that I want to bring about. See, when you talk about schools within Chennai, based on the area itself, the context varies. We have schools span across, from north to the south of Chennai. What you see in south is not what you see in the north as well. The amount of violence that each community faces is different. The amount of the setup that the kids come from is different. Say, for example, a kid coming from a domestic violent family. It has its scars on that kid. So the emotional abuse that the kid goes through, the torture that the kid goes through, the psychological trauma that the kid goes through. So all these things play a part in the learning of the kid as well. And again, when it comes back to the resources, that's where we are way disadvantaged. So the Tier 2 school that I worked in, Adelaide, I worked with, my role was more to work with one-on-one interaction with the kids, and I worked with children who had behavioral issues as well. So there was this one kid who had a case with the criminal justice system. He's 12 years old, and he was given the last, hope of not getting into the institutionalized setup. So that was, the particular school that he was studying in, I was one of the social workers who worked with the kid. For a kid who's in trouble, they have so many people. For just one kid, there were 5 of us put together as a team to put him on track into a mainstream school. So there's a social worker from the school, there's a psychologist from the State Department, there's a lawyer who is handling his case, there's a case manager, and plus I was the 5th person who was working with the kid directly. So think of the troublesome ones that you have in your class. And think about, how we are. Disadvantaged. But then again, at the end of the day, the small gestures, this, very act of kindness that you, do through your words or through your actions, does play a very big role. For example, this kid that I'm talking about, he comes from a Aboriginal family, which are the natives of the Australian land, and very dysfunctional. Mother and father, broken, the family itself is a broken family. There are humpty number of siblings for him, it's around 8 or 9 siblings ahead of them. And he's the youngest of the lot, and plus, there's no proper care at home, he's just left free. So the kids mingling with their peers and with the kids of a higher age group has a very tangible impact on their behavior as well. So he got into one of the wrong companies, kids not appropriate for his age, and he started, getting into trouble as well, for which he was put into this particular scenario with the criminal justice system as well. And so there's this instance, there's strict no policy for any weapons in schools, zero tolerance policy as well. So there's this one day he walks into a school with a knife, and that's enough to put him back into the square one where he was, with the system. And again, so what I wanted to say was, the very act of kindness. Say for example, there's this instance where, he came to school without lunch. Usually kids, are given money. You can go to the school canteen there and get your stuff and then eat from there. And home cooked food is some privilege that we as Indians have enjoyed for a long time. But then there it is not so very much. And so so there's this one day, since I work with him closely, he comes to my cabin as well. So there's this one day he came without food, without money as well, so he wanted some spare money to get to the canteen and get some food. So I had some sandwich with me, which I shared with him, and he was quite surprised. Nobody has done this to me. Nobody has shared their food with me. They have usually given the money, but then nobody has shared a bite with me, nobody has given a bite. So that was, something new to him. After a couple of days, and plus, trust me, he's one of the naughtiest one. With all the facilities, with all the things, I mean, gadgets and everything, I mean, it is hard to engage him as well. But then with everything around, I mean, it's hard to settle down in the class. But then again, the freedom of teaching concepts to the kids through any methods, say for example, through cooking, you can teach math. Through basketball, you can teach them the concept of timing. I mean, the patience. So these facilities and the options of, reaching out to the kids who are in trouble in a different way and getting across the content of the curriculum to them was one of the interesting aspects about the Australian education.